Dr. Armaiti May is known as the vegan vet, and she is pretty well known in the vegan world, to say the least. I have heard her speak at Toastmasters in West LA, where they have the vegan Toastmasters, and she's the president, correct, of that. Your bio's coming up. She is a vet that does house calls in the West Side. And since there's so much about her background, I am going to just read it. Armaiti May, DMV, is a dog and cat veterinarian practicing in the West Los Angeles area. The youngest of a class of 122 students, Dr. May obtained the Doctor of Veterinary Medicine degree from the University of California, Davis School of Veterinary Medicine in June 2005. She graduated with high honors with a Bachelor of Science degree in Bioresource Sciences in May 2001. While an undergraduate student at UC Berkeley, she became a vegan and animal activist, an active officer in Cal Vegetarians, a student vegetarian advocacy group. Dr. May helped campaign for improved vegan options in the dorm cafeterias and produced several vegan food giveaways. Pretty good. She also served as president of both the UC Berkeley chapter of Golden Key International Honor Society and the Cal Pre-Veterinary Society. As a student at UC Davis School of Veterinary Medicine, Dr. May was an active volunteer with Mercer Veterinary Clinic for the Homeless, a student-run vet clinic that provides free veterinary care to pets of homeless, I love that, of homeless people in Sacramento, California. Dr. May also served as president of the Student Animal Welfare Committee and helped coordinate a surgery wet lab training experience for fellow vet students, utilizing ethically sourced cadavers from a will body donation program as a humane alternative to the school's terminal surgeries. The school's live terminal surgeries in the small animal surgery curriculum were subsequently replaced with a rotation during senior year in which students perform needed surgeries on animals under close faculty supervision. During vet school, Dr. May volunteered with the Rural Area Veterinary Services to provide free care and sterilization surgeries to cats, dogs, and horses in economically disadvantaged communities. After graduating from veterinary school, Dr. May spent 20 months working at a 24-hour emergency dog and cat hospital in San Fernando Valley. She has completed a veterinary acupuncture course offered by Qi Institute of Chinese Medicine. One of her professional goals is to have her own vegan integrated veterinary practice that incorporates animal advocacy. Dr. May is an avid supporter of educational vegan outreach and humane education programs, and is a member of the American Veterinary Medical Association, as well as Humane Society Veterinary Medical Association. She is the founder and president of Veterinary Association for the Protection of Animals, known as VAPA, an animal rights organization which raises awareness about the benefits of veganism and encourages veterinary schools to adopt humane surgical teaching methods. So, I'll take my breath because that's a lot, but she's just a wonderful person, and we're so happy you came. Please come up, Armaiti.
Thank you all for being here. It's really great to celebrate this momentous occasion with all of you and celebrate the importance of veganism and plant-based eating. This lifestyle is taking off. It's so clearly what we need in this world for a variety of reasons. How many of you consider yourselves planet protectors? Wanting to save the planet from destruction? Well, I am too. In fact, my name actually, Armaiti, comes from my religion, Zoroastrianism, and it's in charge of looking after the earth and the planet. So that's one of my callings in life, and take care of the creatures on it. And it turns out that animal agriculture is the biggest contributor to climate change, more so than all of the cars, planes, trains, and boats combined. So a meat eater riding a bicycle actually has a bigger carbon footprint than a vegan driving a Hummer. You can believe that. It's kind of shocking because you don't hear about that on mainstream media very much, because the animal agriculture industry is very powerful in controlling what we hear. Even seeing a video of what happens to an animal in a slaughterhouse is very difficult to see on regular television, or even if you search online, sometimes they'll take videos down, and they actually have criminalized videotaping what happens in factory farms and slaughterhouses in certain states. They're called gag laws, and they actually have made it harder for this video footage to be obtained than it would be otherwise. But that goes to show that they have something they're trying to hide. If everything was fine and dandy, there shouldn't be any problem having a video camera in these facilities. So I definitely give my regards and admiration to all those undercover investigators who are doing a tremendous job under extremely difficult circumstances, documenting what happens to these animals. And I've seen some pretty bad things. I don't want to ruin your dinner by going into the details of it, but it's really horrific what animals go through. The good news is that we can change that by not eating them and, of course, encouraging other people to do the same. And so, as important it is to be on a plant-based diet and share that lifestyle with others, it's also important to spread it and get other people on board with this. In addition to the climate change issue, we have 51% of the greenhouse gas emissions are produced by the livestock industry, and that's more than all of transportation combined. We also have water conservation issues at hand. It takes about 5,000 gallons of water to produce just 1 pound of grain-fed beef. And that's equivalent to like 6 months worth of showers. The rainforests are being decimated at a very alarming rate, where every second an entire acre of rainforest is being destroyed, and most of that is for cattle grazing. So that means we're losing important habitats for vital species, precious oxygen producing trees, life-saving medicines that could be lost because of an appetite for a food item, which we can get a plant-based version of quite easily. There are plant-based options available for all of everyone's favorite foods nowadays. As we can see tonight, we have an amazing array of plant-based collectibles, whether it's Beyond Meat, Gardein that makes fishless fillets along with chickenless chicken strips, and a variety of other plant-based meats. Anyone's craving can be satisfied from a plant-based source. Especially the cheeses nowadays are really phenomenal. Miyoko has a great line of cashew-based vegan cheeses. Heidi Ho has really good dips. And there are more and more companies coming out with things. You can even make them at home on your own. It's not all that hard with cashews and nutritional yeast and different fermenting techniques. There are cookbooks even, the Artisan Vegan Cheese Cookbook. So you can get creative and actually impress your friends, if you have the time to get into that and maybe host a little cooking demonstration of your own. Get creative. There are so many ways that you can spread this lifestyle. When it comes to world hunger, that's another big concern. Every year, 6 million children starve to death worldwide, just not having enough to eat. I mean, it's mind-boggling when you think about how that could be prevented if we simply made this plant-based lifestyle more common. It could go a long ways towards alleviating world hunger. It takes 12 to 16 pounds of grain to produce just 1 pound of grain-fed beef. And so a tremendous amount of waste is created by funneling those grains, soybeans, and corn into the livestock animals who are then slaughtered. Fish are also an animal that people tend to forget, and sometimes people will justify being pescatarian as if that's the end game. And I want to point out that our oceans are being depleted at a very alarming rate. Scientists predict that by 2048, it'll be completely depleted. And when fishing is done, it actually involves violence not only against those fish who are literally being drowned, because when they're pulled out from the water, they are suffocating. It also involves the taking of other animals' lives that live in the sea, like sea turtles and dolphins and a variety of other creatures. So it's hugely detrimental. We're talking about for every 1 pound of fish caught, up to 5 pounds of unintended marine species being caught and discarded as bycatch. And then even after that point, there can be damaging effects from nets left behind that get caught up in their bodies, and of course pollution in the form of those rings that the Coke bottles come in and so forth can strangle their necks, and there are plenty of ways they can get hurt on nets that are left in the ocean. Ocean dead zones are becoming more and more common, and the oceans are responsible for producing oxygen, as are the rainforests. So this is a growing concern, and the more we can just move away from the animal foods and embrace the plant foods, even if it's a transitional thing. I mean, I've heard people say, well, oh, this is processed, I don't want to eat it, but the process that animals go through to end up on someone's plate is an utter nightmare of just unseemly proportion. So to have that be the reason why someone doesn't want to go vegan really doesn't make any sense. So if they were to see, what happens in a slaughterhouse, I think they would have to rethink that reasoning process. And if people want to be healthier, that's a great reason to go vegan too. It can help reverse diabetes, type 2 diabetes, heart disease. There's a great documentary, What the Health. I see the poster there, whatthehealthfilm.com. It shows all the reasons why, from a health standpoint, this is a healthier diet, especially if you focus more on whole foods and not on as many processed foods. But it can be a transition. You don't have to necessarily go cold tofurkey. That's great if you do. If you want to take it more gradually, that's all right also. As long as you're just making a conscious effort to move towards that lifestyle and embrace it, share it, show it in a happy way, and not condemning people who aren't yet there, but helping them along and just trying to see what they need. Maybe they need some guidance on how to prepare food, how to plan their meals, getting their routines in order. I mean, we all live very busy lives, and it's not always easy if you're stuck in a certain habit pattern, but just like anything else, change can come if you're determined enough to make it happen. And there's a very important reason, many important reasons, why this vegan lifestyle is a change worth embracing. Even our animal companions can be vegan in many cases. I have 2 vegan cats, and they're doing great. Dogs are a lot easier to be vegan than cats are. They're biologically omnivores, so they can adapt very easily to a plant-based diet. Cats, although they are technically biologically carnivores, can have their dietary needs met through plant-based sources. And I'll be talking about that more later on at the upcoming event at the Have a Heart Ranch in Agoura Hills on April 15th. But I did want to touch briefly on the nonprofit VAPA, Veterinary Association for the Protection of Animals, which I founded. And the 2 main goals of this organization are to raise awareness about the benefits of veganism within the veterinary profession, which is very much needed. Ironically, we are in the minority in the veterinary world as vegans, and that does need to change. So we want to do presentations at vet clinics, share delicious vegan food with them, and share with them the importance of this diet for the future of life on this planet, and of course, compassion to the animals. The other side, the other aspect of what we're trying to accomplish is improving humane teaching methods in veterinary schools, which is very much needed. When I was at UC Davis Vet School, they did have an elective course, meaning it was optional for students to partake in a surgery training of a dog or some other animal that was then euthanized or killed at the end of the procedure. And many students would not feel comfortable doing that because in order to learn how to become a veterinarian, they should not have to take the life of an animal in the process. And there's a vet school actually not far from here called Western University College of Veterinary Medicine that has a reverence for life philosophy. They don't have any harmful or terminal use of animals in their curriculum, which is really fantastic. And I'm hoping that this can serve as a model for other vet schools. So when I do at-home euthanasias, for example, which is one of the things that I offer as a house call vet, when the time comes when an animal is sick and needs to be released from his or her body, is to offer that client the option of donating the animal's body to the vet school for vet students to learn, so they don't have to kill healthy animals in order to teach vet students anatomy. There are also programs where students can learn surgery through operating on animals that need surgeries with faculty supervision. And those can be win-win situations, and that's the ideal we're working towards for other vet schools to follow as well. So I encourage you to also check out our booth here in LA. We're going to have a booth at VegFest April 30th. And that'll be at Woodley Park in Lake Balboa. VegFestLA.com is the website. They'll have many different booths there. And it's a great way to learn more about veganism, sample some delicious food, hear some great speakers that are very inspiring, and just make vegan friends. I think that's an important part of this whole journey, is connecting with other people who are on this journey with you, and that will help you stick with the program, because there are some people who go vegan and then they don't have that support system in place, and they may not stay with it. And I think it's really important for you not to feel alone, because it's easy to feel that way sometimes when you're out there in the world and you're the only one at work or the only one in your family and you feel picked on or isolated. But there is a community of people out here who are supporting you and want you to succeed. And it's just a matter of connecting with those people and getting the support, coming to these potlucks, sharing recipes, continuing that effort. You know, it's the journey of 1,000 miles begins with that first step. So I congratulate all of you for being here tonight. It is a real heartwarming thing for me to see all of your faces and see that you are dedicated and motivated to continue this. So thank you very much.
After Maureen's talk, you might want to share some things, because one of the conflicts we've had at the shelter is that we feed the dogs and cats, the food has meat in it.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of perplexed on how to deal with that, and that might be an interesting topic for you to share that story right here.